Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Battlefords. It's a great day for us to be here, our first campaign stop in North Battleford, or the Battlefords for that matter, and we are joined here by our Saskatchewan Party candidate for the Battlefords, Jeremy Cockrell. And thank you for hosting us here today, Jeremy, in your campaign office. We're also joined by Warren Kading, our candidate for the constituency of Melville Saltcoats over on the eastern side of the province. Thank you, Warren, for making the trip to the Battlefords today, and welcome to the Battlefords. Last week there was an event in this province that sort of flew under the radar. Not with Warren and not with many, but it flew under the radar with far too many, and it was Seniors Week in Saskatchewan. I would imagine the celebration was a little more subdued due to the global pandemic that we have. But I'm happy there is a Seniors Week in Saskatchewan, and I'm happy that there is a Seniors Week, a National Seniors Day across the nation on October the 1st. And we should take every opportunity, every day of the year, to thank our seniors for building our communities, for building our province, and for building our country. In Saskatchewan, we have always understood that our seniors should be respected and they should be supported. So today I want to announce 3 important measures that will make life more affordable and provide additional care for our seniors living in our communities across Saskatchewan. We've heard concerns from many seniors and their families about the cost of ambulance services, especially the cost of transfers from one hospital to another in an ambulance. So a re-elected Saskatchewan Party government will significantly reduce the cost of ambulance calls for seniors. And we will completely eliminate the charges for inter-hospital transfers for seniors, and we will further reduce the maximum cost of other ambulance calls for seniors by over 50%. We will reduce the cap from $270 down to $135 per call. We want to reduce the financial burden for seniors who may be experiencing a health care emergency. The second measure that we are making today relates to the Seniors' Income Plan. When the Saskatchewan Party was first elected in 2007, the Seniors' Income Plan was only $90 a month. In fact, it had been stuck at $90 a month for the entire 16 years that the NDP were in office. This is the benefit that helps low-income seniors. And the NDP never increased it once in 16 years. Since 2007, the Saskatchewan Party government has tripled the Seniors' Income Plan from $90 to $270 per month. Now we think it's time to help low-income seniors in Saskatchewan by increasing it yet again. Over the next 4 years, we will boost the Seniors' Income Plan benefit to $360 a month. That will be a 33% increase for about 14,000 Saskatchewan seniors, and 4 times what it was when the Saskatchewan Party formed government in 2007. Finally, a re-elected Saskatchewan Party government will make a major investment to improve care for seniors that are living in our long-term care facilities as well as those receiving home care services. Our plan is to hire an additional 300 continuing care aides. Continuing care aides have been called the eyes and the ears of those living in our long-term care facilities. They help seniors with their mobility, with their personal care, with their meals, and with their medication. They do crucial, essential work, and they do it with compassion, and they do it with commitment. And we all know they have been asked to do even more over the course of the past number of months as they have protected residents yet again from this global pandemic. 180 of the new continuing care aides will be hired to work in long-term care facilities. That's the equivalent of adding 1 additional aide for every 50 long-term care residents in our province. The other 120 aides will provide home care services across the province. Ladies and gentlemen, when this measure is fully implemented, the cost of these 3 initiatives will be about $36 million a year, and together these measures will make life more affordable for our Saskatchewan seniors, our family members, which is one small way for us to say thank you for all that they have done for our province, and to ensure that our seniors have the resources they need to live active, engaged lives, lives with dignity, and lives with purpose. Finally, I want to say to everyone in Saskatchewan, thank you once again to everyone in Saskatchewan for what you have been doing to protect our seniors, yes, but to protect our parents as well as our grandparents, but to protect our families and communities right across Saskatchewan, to protect everyone from the spread of COVID-19. We know this virus is potentially dangerous to everyone, yes, but it is in particularly dangerous to elderly people. So the best thing we can do is to reduce the spread in our communities as much as possible, and we are doing that. Saskatchewan people have done an exceptional job. Our number of active cases continues to remain low here, which is even more remarkable as we have watched the case numbers spike slightly here in the province, but spike in other areas of Canada over the course of the last few weeks. So I'm going to ask everyone once again to continue being careful, especially as we head into this Thanksgiving weekend. We have much to give thanks for. You can get together with your extended family, but I would strongly, yet again, advise against out-of-province travel. And I would ask you to continue being careful, especially around our elderly family members. Continue with your physical distancing and wearing a mask when that distancing is not available. Continue to wash your hands and cleaning those common touch areas. And I would say just one person should serve the food at Thanksgiving dinner this weekend. We're doing so well here in Saskatchewan. Let's not let our guard down right now. Let's continue to keep Saskatchewan strong. If there's any questions, I think there's a microphone there. We'd be happy to take them. Myself or Warren or Jeremy would be available for any questions that may arise.
Yeah, you just spoke about COVID, and we know that there's an outbreak that's stemming from PA and a gospel church there, and we've now learned that some of the singers there weren't wearing masks. I'm wondering what message would you send to those people, and will there be any consequences?
Well, I don't know of the particular contact tracing and what that's revealing in the case of the outbreak in Prince Albert. I did read that there was maybe some interprovincial travel involved. Although not illegal, we have strongly recommended against interprovincial travel unless it is absolutely necessary. It is part of what spreads this virus in our communities and ultimately puts those that are vulnerable, more vulnerable to the virus at risk. I'll let the contact tracing do their work. I understand Dr. Shahab will be out, I believe, this afternoon addressing this among a number of other things. And I would just once again say to the people of the province that let's continue. Let's not let our guard down in adhering to the public health recommendations that are there, including wearing a mask if you should be singing in your place of worship. Let's ensure that we are doing what we can to protect those around us, adhere to those public health guidelines. People in this province should also know that we have been faced with these regional outbreaks in communities numerous times now, and we do have the testing capacity, we do have the contact tracing capacity to ensure that we're able to contain it to those regional outbreaks. Our Saskatchewan Health Authority staff and others are working very, very hard and are doing this time and time again to ensure that we are containing these outbreaks and protecting people in the province.
Yeah, this campaign trail seems to have been dominated by the past, both with your party focusing on the NDP's track record and now your own past coming up. I'm wondering, how do you feel about that, and how do you feel that's shaping this election?
Well, I've not been one to hide from my past. This is not a fun part of politics when people are reaching back, decades into when people were young adults, for sure. But most certainly, I said at the outset of this election that this election will be about who the people in the province believe will provide the best opportunity to recover the economy here in Saskatchewan. We have a plan that we had put forward in the growth plan a couple of years ago now. It's our second growth plan that we have put forward. The first one we delivered on many of the targets that were in there. And I always say, what the recipe for success in this province is, it's not complicated. But it's one that all of us need to continue to focus on and work towards. We export products all around the world, food, fuel, and fertilizer. All of those products are going to be required as the global recovery post-COVID-19 does begin. And we need to, in this province, position ourselves so that we are in the very best place to service the world as they start to look at their supply chains in a different way. And there's no more safe, sustainable, reliable, competitively priced supplier of high-quality products than this province right here. And I think Saskatchewan has an opportunity ahead of it. Our 61 candidates across this province believe that Saskatchewan has an opportunity in front of us, and we're going to ensure if the people of this province provide us with the opportunity of another mandate in government, that we will put forward and we will deliver on our plan to recover the economic fortunes here in the province, provide that opportunity for those to get back to work, and yes, provide that opportunity for additional jobs in the years ahead, for our children to maybe choose a career in the community where they were raised, but for certain to choose a career in a community right here in the province. That's what this election is ultimately about, is who is best to recover the economy in Saskatchewan.
And you talk a lot about trust, and I'm wondering, what would you say to people in the province who feel that they can't trust you because you didn't disclose the impaired driving charges against you in 1994?
I've disclosed any of the convictions that I've had. I've disclosed, the lion's share of my driving record throughout the earlier days of my adulthood, if you will. The one yesterday was one that quite frankly, the charges were dropped. The charges were stayed, if you will, because they weren't valid, and that was the case with those charges. That's why I had not talked about that particular incident. But I've always been straightforward with the people of this province, whether it be on my history from last year, from 20 years ago, and I'll continue to be upfront and straight with the people of this province. If they provide us with the opportunity to form government again here, they can look for more of the same from this Premier and from our Saskatchewan Party caucus. We will always be straight with the people of the province. We will always consult with them on the decisions that we are making, and we most certainly have the great belief that with the Saskatchewan that we are running towards is much better than the Saskatchewan of yesterday.
But the charges weren't stayed until 1996, so this was something that stuck with you for 2 long years. Why not just be straight with the people about that part of your record when you know there's a lot of public interest when it comes to impaired driving here in Saskatchewan?
So I was yesterday, and you bring up a good point with respect to impaired driving in the province. We have taken great strides over the course of the last number of years to ensure that we are making the correct decisions in driving those numbers down, and those efforts are bearing some fruits. And Joe Hargrave has been at the helm of many of those efforts. I know Warren Keating has been involved as well, and we need to do more. We need to continue to do more, and that's why I have been straight with my driving record from 25 plus years ago, and will continue to be.
Joanne Balog's son has said that he feels disrespected by your reluctance to meet with him until after the election. Why are you taking that approach?
I addressed this yesterday. This is, although I'm a very public person in the current career I have had, in the career that I aspire to have, I did address this yesterday. This is an event in my life that is deeply personal, and I won't be addressing it again during this campaign. I asked the media yesterday to respect that, and I would make the same request here today.
Sir, he feels disrespected. Why won't you meet with him behind closed doors without the media there? Mm-hmm. He's wondering why. I can understand that, and I indicated that I would be reaching out, and I did ask for the media's respect in not addressing this. Absolutely, I understand that, sir, but the media has a right to act.
Yeah.
Mr. Premier, on a different topic, I have on my mind kind of a different election right now, kind of the United States election, and what's been going on down there with COVID-19 and some of the problems at the White House with people getting infected and that sort of thing. And the question I have for you is, obviously you're probably looking at this and thinking about the precautions that your campaign team is going to have to make, and maybe you could fill us in about what your own campaign is doing to make sure that COVID-19 stays out of your campaign and that you don't get infected and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we're doing things very differently, and most notable would be where we're standing here in this room. Second notable thing would be the number of people that are in this room is much less than I think we had in North Battleford in the campaign of 2016. And third, many of us that aren't speaking at the microphone, all of us are wearing masks because we are in an indoor space and we may be near one another. So that first and foremost is one of the major differences that I think people will see throughout this campaign. We're obviously traveling across the province, not the country, but the province in a vehicle. So there is a few of us that have bubbled, if you will, with our contact circle, and our, we're limiting that contact as to whatever degree we can, the close contact in particular, with others that may be on the campaign, but also others across the province as we travel to two different communities. So we're following all of the public health advice that is there with what we're doing at the leadership level of the campaign. When we get to the doors, there's a little bit different process that is there. I'm going to maybe ask Jeremy if you wanted to address, you've been on the doors, or Warren, or both of you, if you wanted to address what is a little bit different when you're doing door knocking relative to what it was like even a year or last campaign. Would you like to address that, Jeremy?
Yeah, I can say from previous times that I've been on the doors, it's been quite different. I mean, we're dropping the literature, ringing the doorbell, and then stepping back 6 feet. I mean, I can say that on our particular campaign here in the Battlefords, we've maybe had just one or two people in the last month or two ask us to leave. They're feeling uncomfortable, and we obviously respect that. But I mean, all of our volunteers are following the public health guidelines, and we're finding great reception on the doors. People are happy to see somebody at their house and take an interest in how their lives have been through the last 7 or 8 months, which have been difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah, I imagine it's been difficult to engage with the public, and certainly we're not seeing rallies in this province like we've seen in the past. Maybe comment a little bit about how challenging it's been.
Yeah, I mean, I think as the Premier said, in previous campaigns, there's been a lot more people around in these sort of events, and I know that there'd be probably hundreds of people here in the Battlefords that would love to be here and be a part of this and be a part of our campaign. But obviously, that has to be different. So we're working hard to find other ways to build that momentum. But I think door knocking is the way that we're doing that here in the Battlefords.
I have one more question for the Premier, and it's about some of the other parties that are running. I noticed that the PCs are running a number of candidates in this region and in rural areas. I know that the PC leader was here earlier this week. I know the Buffalo Party has been putting up candidates in the surrounding area as well, particularly I know in Cutknife Turtleford. How worried are you about the PCs and the Buffalo Party possibly? I know that they are targeting Sask Party voters and trying to get them over to their side. Maybe comment about.
Right. Well, there has been some conversation. I would start off with there's, in my mind, one party to vote for the the proper and ambitious recovery of the economy here in the province of Saskatchewan. One party to vote for that really has a proven track record when it comes to growing the economy, growing our population, and growing our opportunities here in Saskatchewan, and that's the Saskatchewan Party. There is another party with seats in the legislature, obviously, and we talk about them often with the NDP. Their record is quite different. It is one of decline and people leaving and closing schools and hospitals in all too many communities in this province, and not a record that we want to go back to. We do have a couple of other parties that some have ran for a number of elections now. Some are new. Some are the result of some of the federal government intrusion that we are seeing on some of our resource-based, export-based economy here in the province. And I spoke of the value of that export-based economy earlier. And it has given rise to much unrest across the province. And it has given rise, not even just this province, but throughout the prairie provinces. And it has given rise ultimately to a people looking for a different avenue, an avenue much more aggressive than some current ideas that have been knocked around. I would say this with respect to our relationship with the federal government. We do need to continue to work with them at this point in time. I have represented the people of this province and the industries that are creating wealth in this province at numerous times, up to and including back the few days after the federal election when I had put forward a new deal with the Prime Minister, a new deal with Saskatchewan, a deal that would ensure that we could continue to develop the sustainable energy resource we have, the mining resources that we have here in the province, the agriculture resource that we have here in the province, a deal that would not include senseless and ineffective taxes on these industries, making them in many instances uncompetitive with their competitors in other areas of the world, like a carbon tax that does not reduce emissions, ultimately reduces investment and jobs, and shifts many of our industries to other areas of the world, such as China. So it is this party that has and will continue to stand up and represent the people of this province, the hardworking people across Saskatchewan and all of our industries, including right here in the Battlefords, that are creating wealth for our community, creating wealth for our families, and ultimately growing and creating that opportunity for that next generation to be employed right here in a community like the Battlefords.
Anyone else?
Any others?
I just have a question about your plan for daycares. People are saying that more spaces are great, more opportunities for people that want to run in home care are great, but it's still really tough to afford daycare for children. What do you say to those parents that are looking for a little bit more help than what your plan is offering?
I would say this is the plan that we're putting forward. I would say look at the record that we have. We have increased daycare spaces across this province, not only in home-based daycare over the course of the last 13 years, but in our schools. And in order to increase daycare spaces in our schools, you actually need to build new schools. We have been doing that. We've been doing that steadily for 13 years. We've announced a number of schools over the course of the last few months. We've opened some new ones, Rostern and Weyburn, very soon Weyburn, and we have announced a number of additional schools that are going to be built across this province. All of those are going to have, if required, daycare services in those, or daycare spaces added to those. This is the record of this party, is one of investment in education, investment in daycare facilities, investment in childcare, investment in the increasing affordability for our families in this province, but just as importantly, the investment in the opportunities so that we can remain in this province.
Pitched a $25 a day plan for childcare. Tell us how your plan is more affordable for parents.
Our plan is more affordable because we actually have costed our plan out. Tell me how the NDP have costed any of the promises that they have put forward out over the course of the last number of days.
Well, can you be more specific for parents who want to know, though? How will your party help them afford childcare?
By making it available in their community in the same way that we have provided spaces, certified spaces, public spaces in our schools that we have built. The same way that we have increased our home care facilities, we're going to increase those home care daycare spaces as per our announcement the other day as well. First and foremost, you need to have daycare spaces available in your communities. We have done that. We have funded the infrastructure build, and we are coming in. We've funded that for 13 years, and we are adding to that with the announcement that we had made the other day.